Saludos, saludos, bienvenido al podcast de Joy. Mi nombre es Eduardo Joy, inversionista de bienes raíces. Y hoy tenemos a un súper invitado, ¿ok? Hoy tenemos a una persona que yo admiro mucho, es un inversionista de bienes raíces también en Estados Unidos. Y se acaba de conectar a la llamada, pronto lo vamos a estar presentando. Pronto lo vamos a estar presentando a la llamada de hoy, pero van a poder ver cómo es que se crea un fondo en Estados Unidos. O sea, la llamada de hoy, eso, él habla en inglés, así que vamos a empezar a cambiar en inglés. En unos minutos él va a estar con nosotros. Déjame añadirlo aquí. Hey, Bridger.
Hello, hello.
Hey man, just want to thank you so much for being here, brother. I was like, I'm not sure he's gonna show up or not, but man, I appreciate you. Thank you
Well,
so
how'd you
much.
find my link? I don't even know how we found this, but we're here talking. And I was
Yes.
worried. I don't speak Spanish. No hablo
No,
español.
don't
So
worry, don't worry. My audience speaks Spanish. I'm in Puerto Rico, and
Okay.
yeah, I'm gonna introduce him. Yeah, we're live. Actually, what I do is I just do a live, but at the same time, I'll use it for a podcast, so it will go through through my podcast. But man, I don't, I want to keep this short. I know you're, you're doing a lot of things, so and I don't want to take a lot of your time, but I just want to say thank you for being here. I'm a real estate investor in Puerto Rico. All of my investments are here, close to 100 units now. Started 24 months ago, and my audience is the same. Just to give you some context, they're either they're becoming operators or they want to transition into becoming a real estate operator. And obviously the whole idea of a fund once you become an operator is something that you want, at least for myself, I wanted to know more about. I know this is not a coaching call, so I won't run it like that. But I do just want to welcome you to my podcast, and again, just say thank you so much for being here, man. I really appreciate it.
Well, yeah, fun to be on. I'm happy to talk for a few minutes. Yeah, let's talk that's what we talk about, right? Taking real estate, raising a fund, scaling to either larger units or more units, and or raising a hedge fund, or raising a private equity fund or venture capital fund. Across the board, that's what we do. So yeah, it's pretty fun. Let's dive in.
So it's pretty interesting because my whole audience is Latinos. I'm in Puerto Rico. The people that follow me here in Puerto Rico, and the people that even in the States, right? I have a lot of Latino followers, and so I don't know personally. I don't know anyone inside the real estate community that speaks Spanish that it's promoting this type of structure, right? Promoting funds. Actually,
That's cool that you're doing it. Yeah.
I'm actually doing my second syndication here in Puerto Rico. Through the SEC, all that, and I talk to people, they never heard about it. So if I'm in the game and I'm starting to hear about it now, I imagine that my audience is totally unaware of it. I guess my first question would be, as a young operator that's starting or that's looking to start, when do you think it's a good idea to start thinking about a fund and maybe getting that structure together? Like what would be your take on that for my audience who are just early operators as well?
Yeah, I think, the way, again, there's a lot of different paths, but the way I think about it is you can start with syndications. So syndications are great. And kind of what I summarize, like a house flipper, for example. You find a house, you grab some money from the bank, you use hard money or private money, you use your own money or investor money, you pool that together into some little entity structure. In the United States, we use LLCs. You put them into that, you then go flip the house, and then you do it all over again. You find a new property, you're calling up your investors, you're calling up the bank, hey, I need some money, I need it wired in by Thursday because we're going to close on this deal. That's what most of us, oh yeah, you're always trying to do that. So that's what most people do. And so,
by the way, that's where my audience is, and that's where I am. Right now.
Perfect.
So you're literally describing me and my audience.
It's a good way to make money, and you can do syndication, a good way to build a track record. However, there's a bigger game. And so we had a guy in our group, he joined, that was him. He was flipping houses. He was due about 3 to 4 a year of house flips and actually did decently well. He did okay with it. And We then set up a fund for him. He went from flipping 4 houses a year to 72 houses the next year.
Wow.
Which is pretty crazy, right? So same example. Let's take the house flipping example. Instead of every time you need to run it, you're calling up, trying to get capital, and you raise a fund, a pool of money up front. You set up the legal structure up front, and now you can go flip as many houses as you want out of that. So for example, I think he raised $5 million. He then went to the banks, got a line of credit, and he flipped again 72 houses from that 5 million over the course of a year, which is pretty cool, pretty crazy. It allows you to scale because when you go bid on a property and you have a fund, do you think you'll win more deals or less deals? When you have capital ready to go, probably more deals, right? Additionally, do you think you'll get better rates from the bank or worse rates when you have a big fund and doing volume? Probably better rates. Banks want to build a relationship with you, so you can get lower cost of capital, lower debt. You can literally show up to a property like, yo, I have proof of funds right here. I can close tomorrow. And you don't have to wait 30 days to call people and get money in. And often enough, you'll beat out your competition. You will win more deals than your competition because you have a fund. Additionally, back to this house flipper, he was then able to pay for full-time crews to go from house to house. He had a full-time team that did like carpet, and they had another team that did tile, another team that did the kitchen or whatever, bathroom. And they would just move from property to property and allowed him to have economies of scale and lower his overhead cost, which is kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
So this is why most people that are successful in business or real estate end up running funds one day, is just because they're so lucrative and so good. So that's why I love funds so much.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I think that in your scenario, do you think that doing those small one-offs help them then be able to have enough track record to say, hey guys,
yes,
I'm doing
100%.
this at a bigger scale? Like, is that the
Yep.
way you teach it?
Yep. In real estate, that's how I would tell, do some syndications, get a track record, or partner with someone who's already done a bunch of syndications. You don't have to do it that way, but most people do that way. They get a couple, and now you don't need to do, some people think, well, I need to do syndications for 10 years and do 100. No, I've seen people that do 1 or 2 syndications and then roll into a fund. You don't have to wait forever. And I think too many people in our space are just intimidated by it. And like, I'm not gonna do it. I had a house flipper coming. He's probably one of the top house flippers in my area. He's flipped over 400 houses, all through syndications.
Gotcha.
And he finally was like, Bridger, I need a fund. And I was like, you needed a fund 10 years ago, but we'll do it now, you know? And so he's setting up a fund. And what you'll do is you'll roll those. And additionally, it helps with your accounting. It's so hard to do accounting on all these different properties and deals that you have going. Just do it in one hub, one place. It's all there. And what you tell an investor is, hey, you know, in this fund, we're going to go buy 50 properties over the course of 3 years or 4 years. And 3 or 4 of them are going to lose money. 3 or 4 of them are going to make an incredible return. And the other 45 or 40 or whatever, they're going to be in the middle, and we're going to average a return of 25.5% or whatever over the years. And that's how you get scale. And then also additionally, this allows you to go from smaller deals to bigger deals. Instead of bidding on a 4-plex or an 8-plex, now you can bid on 100 units, 200 units. And what happens is the competition goes way down. There's like everyone and their dog goes in. I went and bid on a duplex personally. This is a year and a half ago, 2 years ago. They had 38 full or above asking offers, 38, and like 16 of them were cash. I'm like, I'm never gonna win this deal, right? But my dad runs he's now retired. They manage over $40 billion of real estate. Crazy. And that's how I learned about real estate and funds and pitched my dad. My dad's never invested in my deals, but longer story for another day.
One day, man. One day he will.
But it's we'll get him one day. But I've ran 3 funds myself, and but my dad's funds, they go bid on $100 million property, and there's 2 bidders.
Correct.
Right. And he goes, we will actually sometimes win the bid at a lower price. Let's just say, for example, it's a $100 million property. Our competitor is a syndicator. They come in at $100 million, and they need 90 days to close and all these terms and stuff. He goes, we'll come in with a fund. We'll offer 96 million, 4% discount, but we have a fund and we can close in 21 days. He goes, we will often win that deal than the syndicator because it's not just money, it's terms. You win a deal on terms, money being a piece of those terms, and a fund helps you position yourself way better to win more deals.
Yeah, it sounds like in the beginning, it sounds it's more of a belief that needs to shift in the mind of the operator or the fund, whoever's going to start the fund. Because in the beginning, I think with my audience and even myself, I've been victim of this, Bridger, is that at some point I didn't believe that I was capable of raising the capital, right? So yeah. I'm sure that you teach the tactics, but I'm sure you've come across to the fact that the tactics is, of course, you need to know how the waterfall structure and all this, but it's more of a mindset thing as well. Can you tell me something about that? It's interesting.
Yeah, this is, I love getting X's and O's and sharing like the tactics, but it really is an example my dad gave me, actually, because when I was first raising my first fund, I was 22 years old. And I had this idea. I learned about funds from my dad. Long story. I grew up very middle class. I didn't know my dad was rich. And come to find out through his business partner, he had a bunch of money I didn't know about. Anyways, long story. But I started to learn about funds. I started to learn about how these funds are put together. And so I got this idea of like, I'm going to raise a fund. And so I pitched my dad, and my dad says no. And he says, you got to go raise money on your own. And I asked him, like, well, who's going to invest in me? I got no track record. I didn't graduate college. Who is going to believe in a 22-year-old kid to raise money? And my dad gave me this example. It kind of changed my life. He says, Bridger, for example, let's say we had this lady that lives nearby us. She's got a Lamborghini Aventador, $300,000 car, and she is in a liquidity crunch. The market's crashed. She's in a bad spot. She needs to sell that car on Saturday for $50,000. He goes, go with me as an example. So we can buy this car for $50,000 and turn around and sell it Monday morning for around $300,000. Okay. And she just needs money. Bridger, could you find, I'll ask your audience this as well, could you find $50,000 by Saturday morning? You can't use any of your own money.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Type 1 in the comments if you think you could find the money on such a great, amazing opportunity, right?
So yeah, you got a great deal. Think about real estate. You find this amazing discounted property. Could you find 50 grand by Saturday? Correct. And I was like, I kind of thought about it. I was like, you know what? It's guaranteed. We're going to flip this thing we're going to make a $250,000 spread on Monday morning. I'm in college. I was like, you know what? I'll knock doors. I'll stay up all night. I'll fly across the country. Like, I'll do whatever it takes. But you know what? I'll find it. Like, I'm going to find the money. And I told my dad, I was like, you know what? I bet it would be really hard, but I bet I'd find 50 grand.
Yep.
And I was like, because it's that, I'm going to make $250,000 in a weekend, like crazy, yep. Right? And he says, Bridger, what if it was $100,000? And I was like, maybe. I was like, you know what? Like, maybe, right? And he goes, aha. And I was like, what do you mean? And he goes, 2 minutes ago, you were telling me that you're inexperienced, you don't have a track record, you don't have the right pedigree, all the stuff. And now you're telling me you could find $50,000 to $100,000 in 4 days. Why? Because the deal was so good. It was so juicy. And you guys know this in real estate. Now, you still need to be credible and have a track record, all that kind of stuff. But when a fantastic deal will cut through a lot of those credibility things. And if you lead with a great deal into your fund and your syndication, it can cut through a lot of that stuff. Additionally, if you need help on those, if you need someone that went to Harvard, there's plenty of Harvard grads that are doing nothing that they would love to work on a fund with you, right? You can go grab them up or people that went to whatever school and pull them in your fund if you want that credibility. And so that changed my mindset. It changed me. I was like, you know what? If I find good enough deals, good enough opportunities, if I do good enough due diligence, it doesn't matter how old or young I am, that I can even show the investors. Do your own due diligence. Look, I've got all the data here. You look at the deal. Tell me if this real estate property is good or not. Would you do you want to in on this? Well, the only way to get into it is with me, and we're going to do it together as a partner, right? Correct. And so that changed things for me. And then number 2 that changed things for me was realizing how much money is in the world. I think sometimes we typically think the only people that have money are the people with Lamborghinis or private jets on Instagram. Right, yeah. And that's like 0.001% of rich people. Most rich people want to be very private, and they keep it really low profile, and they have millions of dollars in the bank. Like my dad's one of these people. Like he lived in a normal house, drove a normal car, and he's got millions of dollars stashed away. And so if you look at any major sports event or any, like the first 30 rows of people there are multimillionaires typically, right? People in boxing, and they go to every game. It's just fills in your city, in your area. There are people that are wealthy that get together. They actually have investment clubs typically, at least in the United States. There, every city you go to, you can Google Los Angeles investment clubs, and there's going to be 4 or 5 that pop up. They meet every month. They are waiting for people like you to show up with great deals, great investments that they can learn about and put money into. It's anyways, I digress, but there's a lot of money in this world, and you can cut through it with a good deal.
Yeah, so it sounds like it's the belief is easier to fight if you have a really good deal. Those limiting beliefs that one can think of vanish, and then number 2 is just understanding that there's a lot of capital out in the world, and that if you have an amazing deal, the deal will attract that capital, will attract the money. So I guess we're 20 minutes in. I guess I'll just ask 1 or 2 more questions, because the guys here are, they started to comment 1. So yeah, they believe they can find the deal. So I guess Bridger, what's the next step for someone who says, all right, man, I believe in what you're saying, like I agree with it. What do I do now? Like, how do I get into this fun world? And I know, and I'm asking this on purpose because I know you're the the best at it, at least online. I follow you for a long time. So like, what would be the next step for my audience to do if they already decided for that?
Yeah, so what I tell people, at least what I did when I just started to learn, I wanted to learn the game of funds. Like I think that's the first step for anybody. If you're brand new beginner, learn the game, because it's like, think about like soccer, for example. If the first time you walk into a soccer stadium and you're looking around, it might be kind of confusing, right? There's like, what are people cheering for? What's the rules? But once you learn the rules of the game, you can even start to develop like a strategy and maybe some different techniques of how to play better, right?
Yep.
I think it's the same thing's true with funds. Is it might sound really weird and like, I don't even know what this game is. Come in, learn the rules, learn the structure, and then all of a sudden you'll be able to strategize on what you can and can't do and find cool little techniques and whatever it is. And so I tell people to come and learn. And so actually we put out a ton of content for free online. I have a free Facebook group. We actually have a free course on funds. It's 40 videos. It's totally free. My goal is to help more people learn about funds. If you guys want that, I can give it to your audience if you want it. Is that cool?
That'd be awesome, dude. Yes, that'd be
so
amazing.
If you guys go to fundlaunch.com.
Let me actually,
if you want to share it, but fundlaunch.com. We have a free course, and then we have paid stuff too and whatever else. But we have a free course. We have live events. We have everything. We are trying to help more people launch funds. We have one group in our one firm in our group. They've launched. They're an $8 billion fund now. We have 4 groups over 100 million and 54 funds between $1 and $50 million that we've helped launch out of our group, which is pretty cool. So, anyways, fundlaunch.com, totally free course. Go to the top on there and you can look in, and you can walk through the videos. And I would just say educate yourself like funds like crazy. And then if you want help, we have lawyers and stuff. We help people all around the world do funds. We actually have a couple people in South America, people doing building real estate in Mexico. We have guys in Brazil that are buying shipping containers from China, and they buy these shipping containers full of merchandise and they trade them and stuff. It's really interesting.
Cool.
So,
yeah, I mean, at least for me and my partner, we are gonna sign up with you in the next couple days, and I just want to say thank you. I know you're extremely busy, but guys, for the people in the audience, if you're watching live or if you're not, if you're just listening to this podcast while you're driving, you have to look up this guy, Bridger Pennington, because, dude, you poured your life into this.
We go all out.
You and your team, you go all out. And crazy thing is, like, you teach everything for free. I don't know, like, that's part of the strategy. Is like, hey man, if I teach it for free, who cares? There's, but I don't know how you do it. Like, you don't hold anything back, and it's really cool. So.
Yeah, my whole goal, we give out a ton of free content, and then my goal is if you want to launch a fund one day, we have paid stuff, we have a paid group, and if you want like the lawyers and we have 15 coaches that'll come like think on your fund and like help you launch it, we can do that. But up front, I'm like, dude, just for free, if you guys want to come to our live events, we have tickets, we sell that's paid and stuff. And then if you want help like launching your fund, I hope I give enough value up front and I just educate and teach enough up front that one day when you want to launch a fund, you're like, I know who I'm going to call. I'm going to call Bridger, and we're going to help you launch your fund. So
And you guys do, man. You guys do bring a lot of value. Your next event is Miami, correct?
yes.
Can you tell the dates for that, Bridger?
Yeah, Miami 10th through the 12th. We've got Ed Milet coming, who's probably the number one speaker in the world right now. He's an incredible speaker. Yep. We got Jim Rogers. He's the co-founder of the Soros of funds. So if you know George Soros, the quantum fund that broke the Bank of England, one of the most famous funds on Wall Street, he's coming to speak. We've got multiple fund managers that manage over $1 billion coming to speak and share. The goal of this event is all these fund managers come together and just kind of spill the beans on how Wall Street works, how funds work, how to raise capital, how to build a fund, how to start a new fund, how the whole 9 yards. We want to help. It's called Fund Launch Live. Again, if you go to fundlaunch.com, I think we have a video right there at the front that you guys can go see. It's pretty fun. We threw the first event last year. It was 1,200 people, and we sold it out like a month before. It was crazy. These events are fun. We had like a party.
Rico,
it's
man.
not like
to come down to Puerto
it's
Rico
not
and throw an event here.
Oh, it would be fun. Yeah, it'd be way fun. I don't like boring finance events. We have like music. We're like partying. We have like a fun time. It's way fun. This event's going to be 2,500 people. We're already on pace to sell it out right now, which is pretty fun. And anyways, it's going to be a really good time. So if you guys want to come hang out in person, come see me and everyone else here. It's pretty fun. So.
Yeah, man. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you for taking the time to come in and just talk a little bit about, like we share, you know, why would you want to do this? It's going to give you speed. It's going to give you scale. It's gonna make it easier and more entertaining, more fun. You know, as a fund manager. But also it takes your skills to another level, right? Like to do a syndication versus being a fund manager, there's some skills differences there. And as operators, young operators, and people who are looking to grow, we're always looking to grow our skill set, and it just seems like it's a natural step. So I just want to thank you so much for having the time to chat for a few minutes. Again, I'm going to be launching a fund with you, me and my partner, Juan Carlos. So, yeah.
Let's do it.
We'll see you soon, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Well, thank you again. Thanks for people online as well. Chat, this is fun to come live on here. And thanks so much for having me. This is awesome, you guys.
Man, it's so random. I'm like, how the hell did you come up with this idea to be like, hey, let me just jump on people's podcasts before you go?
It's fun, dude. Well, thanks for having me. You're awesome. And again, you guys go follow Eduardo. Good. I love your stuff. Anyways, you guys are great.
Thank you, man. Have a good day.
See ya.
Thank you so much. All right, so acabamos de hablar con Bridgers. Mano, que cool el muchacho. Él, como te dije, él se dedica a crear fondos en Estados Unidos. Si no sabes lo que es un fondo es una manera de levantar un capital, agrupar ese capital, ¿verdad? Tú levantas el capital, lo agrupas y luego que lo tienes reunido, entonces tú te vas a comprar oportunidades que provean un rendimiento y ese rendimiento se lo provees a tus inversionistas. Actualmente yo y mi equipo de trabajo nosotros hacemos eso, pero no de la estructura de un fondo, sino de la estructura de un sindicato. Un sindicato un poco distinto porque el sindicato es 1 a 1. Una propiedad a una propiedad. En otras palabras, yo veo una propiedad, la identifico, hago los números, calculo el rendimiento que la oportunidad provee y entonces se levanta el capital con inversionistas, 800, 900, 1 millón, whatever, el total que sea, se levanta a cambio de ese inversionista recibir un rendimiento. Pero ¿qué sucede? Que si tengo de momento otra oportunidad, pues ahora tengo que hacer lo mismo, crear una serie de documentación nueva para esa oportunidad, hacer el análisis y volver otra vez a levantar capital para esa oportunidad en específico. Cuando tú tienes un fondo, tú lo haces al revés. Tú levantas el capital primero sin saber la oportunidad. Tú tienes una estrategia, claro está. Tú dices, mira, este capital que se va a levantar para este fondo es para comprar propiedades que se vean como esta, X, Y, Z, y vamos a hacer esto y esto y esto, y vamos a dar este rendimiento. ¿Cool? Ok. Se levanta el capital, y una vez tú tienes el capital levantado, entonces que tú puedes ir a comprar las diferentes propiedades, pero como ya tienes el capital, te puedes mover más rápido. Plus, tienes más poder de negociación. Voy a traer aquí a Paula a la llamada, al podcast, porque Paula, tú estuviste en el stream, en el live de Bridger. Adiós, se fue. Paula se fue ahí. Si te puedes conectar un momentito, porque me gustaría obtener tu opinión sobre cómo te pareció la entrevista del Bridger. El muchacho se dedica, como te digo, nuevamente a crear estos fondos y él te enseña cómo hacerlo. Por ejemplo, yo ya he hecho 2 sindicatos. O sea que ya yo estoy listo para ir al próximo nivel, que es hacer un fondo. Si hace sentido lo que le estoy explicando, por favor comenta 1. Si no te hace sentido, comenta 2 para explicarlo con más profundidad, ¿ok? Bien interesante. Tengo a Paula que se está conectando. A ver. By the way, esa es la página de Bridger, Fund Launch. Si quieres obtener más información gratuita, puedes ir a la página de él, espectacular. También, si tú estás interesado en llevar, en dominar lo que son las bienes raíces aquí en Puerto Rico, invirtiendo en bienes raíces y quieres, ya viste nuestro contenido gratuito, lo que te interesa es entrar a una comunidad que te lleven paso a paso de la mano, no hacerlo solo, evitarte los errores, evitarte perder tiempo, gastar dinero. Eso que sale en pantalla, www.eduardoyoy.com/podcast, entra ahí para que coordines una llamada de orientación gratis a ver si somos un buen fit. Tengo aquí a Paula en la línea. Saludos, Paula.
Hola, saludos. Disculpa, tuve problemas ahí, no sé si me escucho.
Sí, te escuchas muy bien. Cuéntame, ¿qué te pareció lo que es el concepto de los fondos, la entrevista de Bridger, desde tu perspectiva de inversionista de bienes raíces? Cuéntame.
Estaba súper emocionada. No sé si fue como ir a Disney para mí, porque hace tiempo estoy buscando la manera como que quiero, ¿cuál es la mejor manera para mí para yo expandir el portafolio? O sea, cómo uno puede crecer, porque llega un punto que de una propiedad en una propiedad, sí, te llega a la meta que uno quiere, pero ¿cómo piensan las personas grandes? ¿Cómo puedo ir hacia el más allá? Y estaba súper emocionada, ya puse en la agenda Miami, a ver si puedo, ya tengo ya yo mi agenda hecha para ver si hay alguna oportunidad, aunque no sea para esta, pero ver entonces de qué manera yo puedo ir a otros eventos y cómo uno poder empezar a educarse y buscar información de personas que ya lo están haciendo y ya tienen éxito en esa industria.
Definitivo. O sea, lo que me deja saber Bridger a mí es que el próximo paso para nosotros operadores que ya estamos haciendo sindicatos es crear nuestro propio fondo de inversión, donde personas cotidianas, ahí sale Luis Díaz, ahí está Marily, Melissa, saludos, veo a Melissa por ahí, donde otras personas pueden poner su dinero a multiplicar su dinero, siendo parte de una estructura como un fondo de bienes raíces y sobre todo creando un impacto en Puerto Rico. Acuérdate, cada vez que nosotros remodelamos una propiedad, le damos una nueva vida al barrio, le damos una nueva vida a la ferretería, contratamos obreros, la compañía de construcción cobra, se vende, ¿sabes? Que la economía se mueve, el pueblo de momento tiene más crimen, tiene más negocio porque hay más gente viviendo. Nosotros estamos creando un impacto social a la misma vez que ponemos a multiplicar nuestro dinero. El dinero en el banco lo que deja es 0.001 centavos de interés anual, ¿ok? 1% de interés anual. Y aquí tú puedes estar recibiendo un 8, un 9, un 10, un 11, un 12% de rendimiento anual y eres dueña de la propiedad. O sea que esto otro nivel de otra manera. Perdón, el próximo paso de cómo nosotros vamos a empezar a estructurar, y me pareció súper cool que Bridgerton tuviera la oportunidad de sentarse conmigo un ratito. Nosotros lo vamos a ver ahora en el evento de Miami y quería traérselo a ustedes porque yo estoy seguro que ustedes no están expuestos a este tipo de información y no están expuestos no tienen esa proximidad de que mira, esto se hace. Como dice Bridger, si la oportunidad es espectacular, número uno, siempre combate cualquier pensamiento limitante que tú tienes si tú eres el que quieres hacer el fondo. Cuando tú estás haciendo un fondo, tu primera creencia negativa es, es que yo no conozco a nadie con capital, es que yo no voy a poder levantar ese capital. ¿Verdad, Paula?
Correcto. ¿No? ¿Verdad? Continuando con lo que tú estás diciendo, una vez tú tengas una buena oportunidad, lo demás es lo de menos. Después de que tú como operador encuentres una buena propiedad, eso es lo que menos uno nos tiene que preocupar. Y sé que mucha gente, ¿verdad? Porque yo tenía este pensamiento, pero, ¿verdad? Me pongo en los zapatos de las demás personas que no conocían del tema. Estoy consciente que muchas personas aquí de Puerto Rico no conocen fondos. Pueden pensar que los fondos, o sea, tú has escuchado de algún fondo, o sea, son bien pocos. Y si ahí vienen fondos,
No hay nadie haciendo
vienen
lo que
fondos de
nosotros
otros
estamos
lugares.
haciendo. No hay
Claro.
nadie brindándole oportunidades a las personas a que multipliquen su dinero. Eso en Puerto Rico no existe. En Estados Unidos es bastante común, donde se crean estas oportunidades de invertir en bienes raíces y tú inviertes un capital y recibes un rendimiento a cambio, pero nosotros en Puerto Rico somos los primeros. Y lo nítido de lo que nosotros estamos haciendo no es que seamos los primeros, es que estamos explicándole a otras personas cómo hacerlo también. Es que lo estamos
Ay,
llevando paso a paso, de la mano, con una estructura, con un proceso.
y adicional a eso, no, o sea, sí, somos de los primeros que estamos haciendo esto, pero y no solamente estamos educando, pero estamos abriéndole las puertas a otras personas que, oye, no tienen ¿verdad? O conexiones con gente que tenga fondos, no, nosotros lo estamos abriendo a otras personas porque ¿por qué limitar a quién abrirle esas oportunidades de inversión?
Sí, definitivo, eso es lo
Eso
que
yo lo veo
sigue
medio
para
egoísta.
nosotros. Para
No sé.
nosotros dentro del programa FIRE, dentro de la mentoría FIRE para las personas que no lo conocen, es una mentoría que se dedica a convertir operadores, a convertir personas en inversionistas profesionales de las bienes raíces. En personas que hagan el trabajo, que busquen la oportunidad, que la detecten, que la sepan financiar, que la sepan adquirir, que la sepan comprar, que la sepan manejar, que la sepan ponerla a producir, ¿ok? La mentoría FIRE se dedica a eso y obviamente también enseña cómo es que tú creas un sindicato, ¿ok? Eso es bien interesante y nosotros entendemos de que esta es la manera de hacerlo aquí en Puerto Rico. So, me pareció bien interesante, simplemente quería obtener tu información, o sea, tu reacción luego de la entrevista. Si alguien de ustedes tiene alguna pregunta que nos quiera hacer ahora, antes de que nos vamos a contestar una pregunta nada más, antes de terminar este live, pero me encantó, o sea, me encantó. Me visualizo en el evento de Miami, me visualizo invirtiendo en su programa de mentoría que probablemente está en, qué sé yo, 15, 20 mil dólares fácil. Pero es lo que uno tiene que hacer para seguir creciendo, seguir mejorando nuestras destrezas y sobre todo seguir,
Creciendo,
no, la palabra es seguir exponiéndonos a personas exitosas. ¿Ves?
claro.
Que ya están haciendo esto, que están jugando, como Roger dice, que están jugando este juego a otro nivel. So, una de las personas que están viendo aquí, si tú tienes alguna pregunta en específico, puedes dejarla en los comentarios, ¿ok? Y te la contestamos. Si lograste entender el concepto del fondo, comenta uno ahora mismo en los comments, que me parece bien interesante. Si lo llegaste a entender, si no lo llegaste a entender, comenta dos, que tocamos base con eso. Paula, unas palabras de despedida.
Honestamente, estoy emocionada por todo lo que viene. Sé que es un camino que o sea, estamos creciendo y queremos que todo el mundo pueda tener acceso a lo que es enriqueciéndose con las bienes raíces. Y como tú dijiste, no hay nada mejor que aprender diferentes maneras de cómo crecer en las bienes raíces y, oye, que tú sepas algo no te limita a tú no seguir aprendiendo, porque una persona puede tener un conocimiento de algo, pero es mejor coger un poquito de todo el mundo y hasta tú formar ¿verdad? Tu propio bolsa de conocimiento.
Sí, ahí está Melissa. Meli, saludos. Meli dice, es muy bueno aprender diversas técnicas de recaudar capital. Eso es bien interesante. Tú como operador, es bien interesante entender qué significa ser un operador. ¿Ok? En las bienes raíces, un operador es la persona que encuentra la oportunidad, la detecta, sabe analizarla, sabe calcular el rendimiento, sabe cómo levantar el capital o cómo adquirirla, cómo financiarla. Luego sabe cómo hacerle las mejoras. Luego sabe entonces cómo rentarla, cómo manejarla, ¿ok? Y cómo mantenerla. En otras palabras, el operador es la persona que su responsabilidad es encontrar una propiedad que dé un rendimiento. El operador es el que busca rendimiento, ¿ok? Y parte del operador, parte de las tareas que tiene o de las responsabilidades que tiene el operador para que sea un buen operador es levantar capital. Y nosotros, dentro del programa FIRE, te explicamos paso a paso cómo es que tú logras eso. Hay diferentes estructuras, diferentes maneras de hacerlo. El fondo es una de ellas. Y como operador es importante nosotros entender de que eso existe, número uno, y número dos, que en un momento dado voy a llegar a un nivel donde tengo que dominarlo. Y ese es el nivel en el cual nosotros estamos, Paula.
Sí, 100%.
Así que con eso los voy dejando. Gracias a 1.000.000 por conectarse a lo que es el podcast de hoy. Estuvimos hablando con Bridger. Voy a poner nuevamente la página de él por si quieren su entrenamiento gratuito, fundlaunch.com. La página que aparece debajo de esa es la de eduardojoy.com/podcast. Esa página es para las personas que han ya tomado la decisión de que mira, yo quiero invertir en bienes raíces, quiero convertirme en un operador sólido, profesional, pero no quiero ponerme a gastar tiempo, no quiero gastar dinero, no quiero cometer errores, ¿ok? Y quiero ayuda, quiero un grupo, lo quiero hacer en comunidad, quiero unos mentores, quiero unos coaches, quiero unas herramientas que me ayude a hacerlo muchísimo más rápido, ¿ok? Pues entonces tú vas a esa página y en esa página puedes coordinar o programar tu llamada de orientación a ver si somos un buen fit en el futuro. ¿Cool? Nos dejamos con eso, Pau.
Sí, ¿no? Y adicional a lo que estabas diciendo, es algo para acortar el tiempo del proceso de las bienes raíces. Lo que a ti te tomó mucho tiempo, a ellos se la corto.
¿Tú te crees que yo me voy a poner a averiguar cómo es que se crea un fondo? Averiguar por mi propia cuenta, no, que yo puedo en Facebook y en YouTube ver videos de cómo se crea un fondo y estar 3, 4 años perdiendo mi tiempo. No, gente, el que hace eso nunca logra nada. La manera de hacerlo es, yo voy a meterme a la mentoría del Bridger, voy a ir al evento de él, pago lo que sea, voy a la mentoría de él, pago los 15, 20 mil dólares y en los próximos 12 meses creo mi fondo sin cometer errores, sin gastar tiempo y sin perder dinero. Creo mi fondo, empiezo a trabajar mi fondo, a recaudar, a levantar capital a través de Puerto Rico, me voy para las noticias, me voy para Facebook, me voy para Instagram, levanto un par de millones, 10, 20 millones y pongo a comprar, en vez de comprar una propiedad al mes o una cada 2 meses, me pongo a comprar un shopping mensual. Y esa es la manera de hacerlo. O un hotel, o lo que sea que vaya a hacer, pero no me voy a poner a reinventar la rueda. Y eso es lo que nosotros te estamos diciendo. Si tú te familiarizas con ese pensamiento, con esa línea de pensar, y tampoco quieres reinventar la rueda, ese link que aparece en pantalla es la manera de brincar todos esos errores. ¿Ok? Así que gracias a 1.000.000 por conectarse. El podcast de hoy todos los lunes a las 5 de la tarde. Nos vamos a ir en vivo y luego cogemos la grabación y la publicamos por todos los medios. Pero vamos a estar hablando sobre cómo invertir en bienes raíces en Puerto Rico. No cómo comprar propiedades, no cómo vender propiedades. Eso déjaselo a los corredores. Vamos a estar hablando sobre cómo tú puedes invertir, cómo tú puedes comprar una propiedad, cómo la puedes mejorar, cómo la puedes alquilar y disfrutar de unos ingresos pasivos.
Mira ese comment que publicaron ahora.
Deja ver qué dice por aquí. Martha Scott dice, when you invest, you are buying a day that you don't have to work. Cierto, cierto. En un momento dado, esas inversiones te pagan un rendimiento, no tienes que hacer nada. Por eso es que nos encantan las bienes raíces, no es porque yo soy arquitecto y me gusta la figura. No, lo que me gusta es el ingreso pasivo que en un momento dado me deja, especialmente si soy un buen operador. Okay, así que, nuevamente, ve a eduardojoy.com/podcast. Antes de que me vaya, les tengo una sorpresa. Si tú comentas la palabra pasivo, ahora, tú estás en Facebook y comentas la palabra pasivo, te voy a enviar un entrenamiento gratis directo. Así que las personas que me están viendo ahora mismo desde Facebook, puedes comentar la palabra pasivo, puedes escribir un momentito ahora mismo la palabra pasivo, ¿ok? Y yo te voy a enviar un entrenamiento gratuito, pasivo. Aunque se acabe el live, puedes comentar y yo te envío ese training. ¿Para qué? ¿Cómo te va a ayudar ese training? Gente, hablar de esto mismo te va a explicar paso a paso qué es lo que tienes que hacer para que comiences a invertir en bienes raíces y no tengas que ponerte a reinventar la rueda. Esto es un training que ya acabo de completar, lo iba a vender en varios, qué sé yo, 999 dólares y decidí, ¿sabes qué? Olvídate de venderlo, vamos a darlo gratis. Así que si tú estás en Facebook, comenta pasivo ahora mismo y te lo envío a tus DMs, ¿ok? Con eso los dejo. Pau, ¿estamos?
Sí.
Muchas gracias. Gracias por escuchar el podcast de Joy. Mi nombre es Eduardo Joy, inversionista de bienes raíces, junto a Paula Soldevila, inversionista de bienes raíces. Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.